Check. All right. Hopefully I can incentivize you all to listen to me. So here's the thing, just to get your attention. I've got 6 Starbucks gift cards. I know everybody's an entrepreneur, startup, drinks Starbucks. I've got 6 Starbucks gift cards this morning. All you have to do is, by the end of this presentation, download the app, ask a question or answer a question, that's it. And I've got these flyers on these chairs, so grab one. The instructions are super simple. Scan the barcode on the top and do it. Hopefully that gets your attention. That's really not the presentation, but I do have the gift cards. I figured something like this might happen, so I've got the gift cards here. Ask a question and just come and tell me you asked a question on the app, and you can get one of those gift cards. Okay, so I want to start with a story. Don't worry about the presentation really. It's okay because I don't need it. It's fine. So I'm going to tell you a story. So about 4 years back, I closed my startup. It had failed miserably, okay? It's really tough to talk about it, because a startup is like a child, right? You put so much emotion into it. You got your family, your friends, your reputation, right? Being an entrepreneur who's actually having a startup is really tough. And it's got really high highs when a client says yes. It's got really low lows when there's nobody to talk to on some days, right? Being an entrepreneur is really hard, and having a startup is really hard. So 4 years back, I closed the startup because it had failed. It hadn't failed because it didn't have customers, so I didn't generate revenue. People loved our products. It was an import-export business for handbags, and people just loved it. I sold it along the west coast of Florida. We did all the big trade shows, but I just couldn't get it to be profitable. And after 3 years, IRS said, I think it's a hobby because you've been like unprofitable for 3 years, right? And it was painful and I had to close it. So that taught me a lesson. I closed that. I went and worked for a large company. So I recently quit my job again in June of this year. I was VP for innovations for Nielsen Media Research. It's a Fortune 500 company. They're around the world. I led innovation for them. So I closed the business, went work for someone, and then I got the itch again. I thought, you know what, this time around, I'm going to go back and fix why I failed last time. Okay? And the reason I failed last time, thank you, is because I had blinders on. Like, I closed my business. 2 months later, I realized, oh my God, there's so many resources in the community that I didn't know about. And the reason you don't know about it is if you have a business, it's all about revenue, it's about payroll, it's about making sure your employees are happy, making sure your customers are happy. You've got blinders on, right? Like, you're like, I got to do this every single day. And you don't look up and see how many people in your community are there to help you. And once I closed my business, I was like, wow, if I'd known that this resource existed and the SBA did this and the Economic Development Council did that and there was this workshop for startups, I'd have done all those things, but I didn't know about it. And I didn't know about it because I was so focused on just making my company work. And I said, this time around, I'm going to change that. I'm going to find a way to help startups go and get help from their local community without having to give up on whatever they're doing. So if you're a single mother, you've got to put your kid to bed at night, you can't go join that meetup group, I still want you to have the same resources at your fingertips, right? If you're a startup who is trying so hard to raise money, funding, and don't know where to go to, I want to help you fix that. And the inequality I saw was that if you're an incubator or an accelerator, or if you're part of some kind of a cohort, you get all these tools. But what about the everyday mom and pops? Like, people are writing books, people are starting a painting job, people who want to do like an educational series on video, right? What about everyday startups who don't meet the bar of going and joining an incubator or an accelerator? What happens to them? That was me the last time around. Nobody wanted an import-export handbag business in a cohort, right? And I didn't have any tools. So I fixed that. We now have an online platform that's absolutely free for startups and entrepreneurs in your local community. So if you ask a question, it's geo-fenced, so the people in your local community will step in and answer. People ask me all the time, David, why will somebody provide free advice? I guarantee you, if anybody walked up to one of you and asked you a question, you'd be like, you know what, I'm just going to give it to you for free, right? In fact, the best form of consultation is the free advice, because if you get good free advice, you're like, what will I get if I paid for it, right? So most people who ask questions get immediate responses on the app. Somebody jumps in and says, hey, you know what, this is how you do it. For example, there was a college kid who wanted to join Y Combinator, and she didn't know about Y Combinator. She had heard about all this stuff. So she came on the app and said, I heard about Y Combinator. I've got this AR, augmented reality solution I'm creating. Can I join Y Combinator? What are the things? There were 2 people on the app in her city who were already part of YC School, who jumped in and were like, these are the rules for YC School. They take 6%. They give you $100,000. This is a bar you have to cross, blah, 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 right? So it could be as technical as that, or it could be as simple as like a working mother in Columbus, Ohio said, you know what, I'm trying to start my business, I've got 4 kids, it's really hard, does anybody feel that way? And like 10 people jumped in and says, we feel the same way, it's really hard to start a business. And these are some tools you can use to kind of help your business going. You can use Shopify, you can create an online store, you can go to Etsy, right? All these tools that might seem obvious to somebody who's already doing it might not be obvious for somebody who's in the middle of it, sweating it out, trying to figure it out, right? And that's what the platform is for. It's a way for people to connect in their local communities and just get the help they need. It's not a big idea, but it's a needed solution, something that I faced that I couldn't get help for, and I want to give back to the community by creating this. So it's absolutely free for startups and entrepreneurs. The way we make money is by bringing this tool set to incubators, accelerators. So, is that a sign?
Sorry.
Okay. By bringing this tool to people who don't have, so for example, I've got a few co-working spaces, so you guys could be a great example too, in Denver, who have like a cohort of startups who don't have a way to connect with them. So we provide the tools to connect with them, and our idea is that every tool that a startup needs to start their business, we will provide in one place on a mobile app. So to make it really simple, if you think about scheduling of events, if you think about joining a private network where you can learn information, if you want to find local resources, everything is geofenced. So if you're in Denver, the local information for startups is local to Denver. If you're in Pensacola, it's within 50 miles of Pensacola. Every tool that a startup needs to start their business, we actually vet local businesses, so we call and see why they would be good for startups. We also look at their reviews online, and we add them to our directory, and then startups get to vote on whether they had a great experience or not. So you can actually see if the startups, if it's good for startups or not, that's peer rated. So it's really that. It's a set of tools for startups so they can go and start their business online, and our slogan is, don't build your business alone. That's it. We want you to use the help of your local community to grow your business. So that's my presentation. I'll take questions.
Have you heard of the website biggerpockets.com? Because they're doing for real estate investors what it sounds like you're doing for the entrepreneurial community. Because they have applications that you can use, they have forums, but they also sell stuff. They sell books, they sell all sorts of stuff, and they are totally on fire.
Yes, there are several of these. There's Avo for lawyers, there's that. So there's a lot of these niche products, and absolutely, we use a lot of them as examples. We don't I quit my job in June. We launched an app in 4 weeks. So we launch a version every week. And I'm a serial entrepreneur, so I love technology. I live in this space. I don't build anything. So everything we have is an API linked to something that already exists. Or why go build something when it already exists? So we use APIs for everything. Almost everything on our app is actually built by somebody else. We just put it together in a way that's customer friendly.
Have you thought of using videos though? Video conferences, having guest speakers?
We do that already on the app. We already do that. So we have something called town halls on the app, where people can come and join a town hall. You get and that what's different from Facebook Live is that you actually get access to the content as the person is speaking. So if you had the app downloaded, you can actually go look at the content, provide feedback, and you can talk to everybody else in the room in real time. So in town halls where people be like, oh my God, this is an awesome presentation, or I'm loving this piece, and we actually relate what the presenter was talking to what the person said, and be able to get real-time feedback on the content. So yes, we do have something called town halls. If I have the deck, I'll show you all the features, but it's on the pamphlet. You can download the app, it's free to use. We also have a free 7-day trial, so you can click and actually get all our features for free, and if you don't like it at the end of 7 days, you're not charged with anything. Yep. So our business model is it's $4.99 for startups to get the whole toolkit. It's free to ask questions, it's free to get access to your local community, free to get local news. But to access all the tools I talked about, we have a local directory, we have a knowledge center with content from leading experts on things like how to overcome objection, how to create a sales funnel, how to get your digital marketing started, how to be an Instagram star, all the stuff that you need to know today to actually have a viable business, right? There is no business that's not on the internet today. So we have all that content, $4.99 a month for startups. We also have a package for incubators, accelerators, co-working spaces, $100 a month, but all your members join for free. So we've had like people with like 6,000 members join us, and all 6,000 people get free access to the tool, and they just pay us $100 a month. Yeah, so those are the two models we have.
So you're saying that right now you have 6,000 members, so how many incubators have signed up and how many?
No, there are incubators with 6,000 members. So we've got about 10 incubators on right now, and we've got about 600 people. We've been live for less than 8 weeks.
That's amazing. So
Thank you.
6,600 people or?
No, it's a much bigger number. I'm talking about the two versions of paid. I have 600 people who are individual users, and I've got 10 incubators. So we don't count the incubator numbers towards the individual users to kind of keep the revenue models different, because incubators, it's free for the individual members. So we only count each incubator as one.
Right, so each incubator has a floating, right, membership?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and they can invite people, and it's blocked, so you can't join unless you're invited to those networks. And they have their own set of tools.
As part of your business and referral model, are you making money when you refer somebody to the service?
We do that not for individual users. We have affiliate marketers. So affiliate marketers do get incentivized. I have different models. I have somebody who, if they sign up and pay for the trial membership, they get $10. If they sign up and ask a question, they get $5. I've got others who get $3. It really depends on their scale and their reach.
You were recommended Shopify to somebody.
Oh, the affiliate marketing for us, yes. So we have our own links, where if you go through our links, both parties benefit. Like for example, QuickBooks Online. If you sign up, you get $5 off, we get $5. Yes, we have those referrals within our resources, so yes.
You said you tried to start a business previously, and that was painful, your baby died. How did you learn how to do it right?
Yeah, so I had a whole bunch of lessons I wrote down. Absolutely, and I tried to do everything really, really fast, and then apologize if it goes wrong. And most people are tolerant, right? Like I launched an app in 4 weeks. People said it sucked. That's okay. I tell myself and I tell people, if the first version of your product is not embarrassing, you waited too long, right? Because people understand you're a startup. They're willing to work with you. In fact, they love the fact that they give you feedback and they see it next week in the app. It actually drives customer engagement, right? So, but I learned a whole bunch of things. I learned about how to have a group of people to start a business with, how to keep customer at the center of it, how to keep your operating costs really low. I have 25 people who work for me. I pay one person. In my last business, I thought I got to hire a bunch of people and give them a lot of money, right? So night and day difference. But here's the thing, I'm going to learn a lot. I might even probably fail again, but that's okay. I just don't want to make the mistakes I made last time. I want to make new mistakes.
Let me see if I can take that back. So you learned how to do it right this time by mistakes that you made previously, as well as studying online, or as well as...
Well, I study all the time. Right now I'm reading the book on how, what's it called? I will tell you in 1 second. But I read a book a week because, I'm scared by what I don't know. And so as long as I know, I'm reading The Founder's Dilemma by Noah Wasserman. Right? Before that, I read the book on slicing pie. So every week I'm reading a book. It's all audiobooks. I drive a lot, so I'm always listening to something to kind of, make sure that what I don't know is what's going to hurt me, so make sure I can learn a whole bunch of stuff. But I think most entrepreneurs are that way.
Who's providing content?
So-
Part of your 25-person.
So we have content writers. We also have community contributors. So there have been experts who come and tell me, we've written this content for years. We would love to have it on your platform. We don't pay anybody, but we give them credit. So we actually say who is the author of the content, and we provide a link back to their service. We don't pay anybody for content because there's so much out there on the internet today. So we have our own content writers. They just write all the content that we don't have. But what I found is that a lot of experts want their content that they've created over the years published on some platform. And so,
And gets credited for it. Okay.
and just get credit for it.
I would assume the app's good on both Apple and Android.
Yes, it's native. It's native to Apple and Android, so we've built it in Swift and we've built it in Android. Yes, it's native. It's live on both platforms.
And where's home, or where did you get started?
I'm in Tampa. Yeah.
So that's interesting, and we've got people coming from campus who've done that, we've had several conversations.
That's interesting.
Entrepreneurial bus.
Yes, I actually have presented, I think, in 8, and I've got like another 4 lined up. I was in Denver last week, Atlanta the week before.
So you just gave budding entrepreneurs a tip then, if you're starting a business and you're regional, go visit all 1 million shops.
Absolutely, it's like heaven sent. I randomly ran across it like 3 months back. I even gone back and presented in a couple of them the second time, and I've asked for feedback between first and second time, and they're like, oh my God, it's night and day. And I'm like, I love it, right? Let the audience drive your journey, not try to get it perfect. But yeah, it's heaven sent. I love 1 million cups. My goal is to get an award from them for presenting in the most. I think I'm getting close. They already sent me like a survey, to give them my experience.
So, it sounds like, I guess, from what you learned in the first, business venture, now you know what to do in your second one, because you said that you want to fix the things that you did wrong the first time. So, 3 years from now, right, kind of where do you see yourself, and still working with this app, and you have other things that are branching off from that?
So our goal, what I did in my last company, I actually worked on artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotics. I actually did that around the world. I traveled around the world doing consulting for Nielsen. I was an innovation leader for them. My goal is that this app actually will become the only tool that startups need. And I'm building AI in the background using the data I'm collecting. So really focus on the customer experience. If you're a startup, what are the thoughts that you have and how you're going to go through your journey? So we're building actually something called a startup wizard, where it will guide you step by step through your startup journey, and it'll actually give you a score for the probability of success at every stage, just like you could get from TurboTax. TurboTax tells you the probability of being audited by the IRS based on information. They don't know if you will, right? Nobody can predict the future, but there's a high probability based on the information you enter into TurboTax. Something like that, along those lines of creating an algorithm that predicts whether you're going to have years of financial pain, right? And so don't quit your job yet, or you have something big here, quit your job and go. But it's really a gamification of the startup journey. And that's our goal, is that eventually we will become like the single platform for startups to build their journey. So we're really thinking about the future. Everything we build, that's why we're using APIs, right? You don't want to hard code anything just to find that a year from now that technology is redundant. So you bring APIs into everything, and as they develop their systems, our system automatically rises with them, right? That's how we're building, and that's the goal, is to hit 1 million users and to be able to go and basically be the single source for startups. And that's the 3-year vision for us.
Yes, I'm here at this code. Can I get access to experts in Tampa, Miami, St. Louis?
You can, right now you can. We're going to restrict that soon, but right now you can. You can simply go in. So we have a Google API that uses your location. You can actually go change your location to any part of the country, and you can instantly get access to those resources. In the future, we will restrict that to monetize that, but for now, yes, you can go and you can get access to resources in any other part of the country.
Okay, so David, most presenters have one final question they get to ask the community, but you get 2 questions.
Oh my God, I'm honored.
Well, but you know what the first question is, because we discussed it
Yes.
yesterday, and the first question is, what can he do on a Tuesday night that's entrepreneurial in Pensacola?
Yes.
And then, of course, the second question is, what can your community do for you? You
Yep.
need to ask them.
Yep, so the first question, the background is that every city I go to, I try to do something the night before. So when I went to Atlanta, I found out about Product Hunt, and I presented at Product Hunt. When I was in Denver, I heard about Startup Grind, presented at Startup Grind. When I came to Pensacola, I couldn't find anything, so when you called me last night, I was like, is there anything happening in town? So, no, but I try to maximize my trip to a city and kind of, get in touch with as many entrepreneurs as possible. But that's really my ask, is if you know a startup or an entrepreneur, please pass the word along. If you have any questions, go in the app, ask a question. You can contact us right through the app. Tell us your customer experience. Do you like it? What would you change? What would you see different? Because, not as part of me giving back to the community, I also love to hear what the community has to say, and we prioritize every feedback we get. In fact, within a week of giving us feedback, I always write back personally to the person and tell them why that feature is now on the app. So I take every feedback personally, and I love bad feedback over good feedback. So if you've got something that sucks, tell that to me. If it's good and you don't say it, that's okay. But if it sucks, tell me so I can fix it and make the customer experience even better. And that would be my ask. Tell people, give us feedback about the app.
Dave,
Thank you.